Some things are certain, and everyone wants them, and those are territory, money, and power. In order to get to this point, a lot of corpses have to be left behind. Unfortunately, along with all this comes a lot of innocent victims as well, which include men, women, and children. They do not choose the means with which they attack. They have one singular goal in mind, and to achieve it, they will do everything and anything. In this cruel underground world, you have to be the strongest to survive. And some people manage to do that, but at what cost? A conflict between active criminal gangs in Dublin's south inner city is known as the Crumlin and Drimnagh dispute. The conflict began in 2000 when a narcotics bust in a hotel room caused an internal split among a group of young criminals in their late teens and early 20s, the majority of whom grew up together and attended the same school. A €1.5 million cocaine and ecstasy cargo was intercepted by Gardaí, which is National Civilian Police Force, while attempting to be smuggled into Dublin. Declan Gavin, 21, who was in the hotel during the raid, was the only one to get released after 2 days, causing suspicions within the group of him cooperating with the police. It divided the group into two factions, one led by Declan Gavin and his pal Freddie Thompson, and the other by Brian Rattigan. The following violence has resulted in at least 12 people being murdered, as well as numerous beatings, stabbings, shootings, and pipe bomb assaults. Declan Gavin was stabbed to death by a masked attacker within an Abracababra fast food dining establishment in Crumlin in August 2001. His assassination prompted Gavin's friend Freddie Thompson to go to fight with Drimnagh rival Brian Rattigan. On the next July, Joseph Rattigan, the brother of gang boss Brian Rattigan, was slain. In February 2004, Paul Warren, 23, was shot and killed in vengeance for the death of Joseph Rattigan. The same group accused of murdering Joseph Rattigan murdered John Roach, 24, in Kilmainham, Dublin, in March 2005. Following an appeal, Brian Rattigan is sentenced to 9 years in prison in 2019 for the manslaughter of Gavin in August 2001. Freddie Thompson is presently serving a life term for the murder of David Douglas.
It was all to do with drugs and a turf war. Who was going to supply and who was going to get the best patch.
The next war between the gangs is merciless. The Drogheda conflict, which is estimated to involve up to 80 people, is reported to have begun in 2017 when a gang was split into two factions, one of which was led by crime boss Owen Maguire, leader of the Maguire gang. In July 2018, Maguire got shot 6 times at his house in Drogheda. He survived the assault but became paralysed. His brother Brendan got shot and injured in 2019. Since 2018, 2 criminal groups in Drogheda have attempted to monopolise the town's illegal drug trade. The conflict erupted in late 2018 when a young guy was discovered battered and stabbed in a restroom. Houses were set on fire and petrol bombs were hurled. When the remains of 17-year-old Cian Mulready Woods were discovered in various locations in Dublin in January 2020, the conflict made national news. He was lured into a car and brought to a meeting at a neighbouring residence, and it's thought he had no idea that he was going to be slain. Gardaí are now absolutely certain that diabolical hitman Robbie Lawler assaulted and killed the teenager. However, he won't be able to face charges as he was murdered 3 months after Mulready Woods was found. In January, a bag containing his limbs was discarded on a Dublin sidewalk in Darndale. His skull, hands, and other body parts were discovered the next day in a burnt-out automobile near Drumcondra. Despite considerable Garda attempts, his torso was never discovered. The corpse was subsequently cut up with an axe by a second suspect, who placed the remains in different bags. The severity of his execution horrified both Gardaí and the people. Garda raided a number of residences in September 2020, including that of a Drogheda gang leader. The raid was part of the investigation into Robbie Lawler's murder and organised crime in general. Lawler was accused of being involved in a botched assassination attempt on the gang boss in 2018. Gardaí think Lawler was murdered as retaliation for the gang leader's attempted murder and the murder of Keen Mulready Woods. The main suspects are two Limerick criminals who have been involved in organised crime for more than a decade. The Hutch-Kinahan rivalry is a large ongoing feud in the Republic of Ireland between two criminal organisations that has resulted in the killings of 18 individuals, the majority of whom have been committed by the Kinahan family. The main participants are the Hutch gang, led by Jerry the Monk Hutch, and the Kinahan family, led by Daniel Kinahan. This conflict is known for a huge number of attacks, usually shootings, against members of the Hutch and Kinahan gangs. Most of the attacks have occurred in Dublin, with a handful occurring elsewhere in Ireland and some even in Spain, including the murder of Gary Hutch, the nephew of the Hutch gang leader. Some believe that this ignited the conflict. In 2014, Gary Hutch hired a gunman who attempted to kill Daniel Kinahan, accidentally hurting Jamie Moore, an innocent boxer. Fortunately, he was shot in the legs, and after some time he fully recovered. This resulted in Gary Hutch being murdered in Spain in September 2015, sparking the feud and leading up to the Regency Hotel attack in Dublin the following year. In 2016, shortly after the Regency Hotel attack, the National Drugs and Organised Criminal Bureau established a select crime task force to tackle criminal gangs, including the Kinahan and Hutch groups. The task force, which was manned by at least 10 Garda and 3 sergeants, was set to close in 2021, but despite the fact that at least 18 people were killed in the conflict, its success in preventing 50 additional murder attempts ensures it will continue to operate. In their efforts to end the war, Garda have captured 456 weapons, 2.2 million euros in cash, and 64 million euros in narcotics as of June 2018. Unfortunately, this isn't the only known gang-related feud in Ireland.
But there had been other shootings, and I began to hear from guards that there was serious trouble going on. It wasn't seen as a full-blown feud. Even the guards viewed it, because of their youth, their relative youth, definitely didn't seem to start that this was going to turn into the saga, the 10 years of violence that it was.
Everything occurs for one reason. It's the attainment of superiority over others. That includes everything, including money, territory, and power. Every mafia's fantasy. Unfortunately, many of them are competing for the status, and the road to there is covered in blood, betrayal, and crime. Many innocent individuals are killed along the road. Some claim that they no longer exist. But is this true? Perhaps they now only reign from the shadows. If you like this video and want more content like this, hit that like and subscribe button. Leave us a comment on what you think about these mobsters. Thank you for watching.